Sometimes life hits us with news so heavy that it changes everything. Today we share the emotional story of Richard, a man facing one of the toughest decisions of his life. After his wife's tragic diagnosis, he's saying goodbye, but not in the way you might expect. This is a story of love, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bond of family. The gloss and glamour of Richard's newfound fame starkly contrast with the heart-wrenching sorrow that shadowed his past. It was in 2021 that Richard's life was irrevocably altered when he received the devastating news of his first wife's cancer diagnosis. For Richard, who had shared 30 beautiful years of partnership, love, and commitment, this was more than a diagnosis. It was an unthinkable reality, a diagnosis that shook the very ground upon which his life was built. The days leading up to that life-altering moment were filled with love, laughter, and adventures. Every Christmas celebrated with joy, every ordinary day made special by simply being together. A cancer prognosis feels like the ticking away of time, as each moment is laden with the knowledge that the clock is running down, and Richard was determined to make every moment count. He would be at his wife's side during her treatments and hospital visits, holding her hand and whispering words of encouragement. In those moments, his voice, which had once filled empty hallways, transformed into a source of strength, soothed not just for her, but for himself, too. Richard's longing to support her led to sleepless nights spent researching care options, dietary adjustments, and alternative therapies, all while he grappled with his fears and heartache. However, as weeks turned into months, the harsh reality of cancer took hold, casting a shadow over their home. Every round of chemotherapy, every struggle, every fleeting moment became etched into Richard's soul, a grueling fight against an enemy that has claimed the lives of so many and struck terror into the hearts of families everywhere. The emotional toll was palpable. Richard felt helpless and lost, like a ship adrift amid a violent storm, desperately seeking a lighthouse to guide him. On June 19, 2021, that storm finally closed in. Richard lost his beloved wife, and the crippling grief swept over him like a tidal wave. In the aftermath, he grappled with a pain that felt insurmountable. On social media, Richard poured his heart out in an emotional message, articulating the raw agony that accompanied such a colossal loss. "I'm so sorry I did my best, but my best wasn't good enough," he confessed, his words resonating with anyone who has experienced similar heartache. He equated the experience of cancer to getting punched in the gut, completely disarmed by the brutality of life's trial. It was a moment where vulnerability met courage, a place where he could let the world see the depth of his sorrow and the weight of heartache. Losing a spouse means losing a part of one's identity, and Richard would spend countless nights retracing memory, the laughter, the inside joke, the quiet moments shared in a world that no longer felt whole. Yet Richard's story doesn't end there. It transforms into something more profound. The people around him, especially his friends and community, became his support network. They understood his struggle and provided a lifeline for Richard to cling to. With every tear shed, every memory recounted, they encouraged him to embrace life once again. It was this community, built on love, empathy, and shared grief, that gradually nudged him back toward the light, reminding him that while pain may linger, hope is an indomitable force. Faced with the overwhelming grief of losing his first wife, Richard reached an intersection in his life where he had to decide. Would he succumb to the depths of despair or rise above it? The thought of pursuing music, a passion that had long been relegated to the background, opened a door he never anticipated having to push open again. Music had previously been his escape, a way to connect with himself and express unspoken feelings. Yet, after the sudden loss, it transformed into an avenue of healing, a calling to showcase the emotions locked inside him. With the encouragement and support of his friends, Richard made the tough decision to take a leap of faith by auditioning for America's Got Talent. Initially, apprehension gripped him as memories of performing washed over him. Could he bring himself to step onto a stage again? And could he pour his heart into music without being overwhelmed by reminders of his loss? It was a fraught internal struggle, a conflict between the desires of his heart and the shadows of pain. The weight of self-doubt crawled in quietly, whispering doubts along the lines of whether he was deserving of pursuing such dream. After all, how could he succeed in a world where so many voices sought attention? Richard's breakthrough came while reflecting on the legacy of love he had shared with his late wife. She had always encouraged him to follow his dream, often reminding him of his talent and the impact of music on people's lives. This realization ignited a flicker of motivation. Richard understood that this wasn't merely about him, it was about honoring her memory as well. With renewed purpose, he chose to channel his emotions into his art. He began rehearsing fervently for the audition, selecting songs that spoke to his heart. Among them was the timeless anthem, "Don't Stop Believing," representing Richard's rebirth amid despair. Dedicating each practice session to her memory, Richard poured his grief and love into the music. For every tear shed, he turned it into a note, transforming pain into beautiful melody that reflect his tumultuous journey, a journey riddled with hope, heartache, and healing. There was something liberating about standing in front of a mirror, belting out lyrics while envisioning the cheers from friends and family, sparking moments of lighthearted joy amid the tidal wave of sorrow. Richard felt the power of collective love pushing him forward, giving him a sense of strength he didn't believe he possessed. The audition day arrived, and with it came an overwhelming wave of emotion. Richard stood backstage, nerves dancing in his stomach, but an unwavering resolve coursed through veins. Taking a deep breath, he stepped onto that stage, not just as the singing janitor, but as a man ready to share his story with the world. Each note that escaped his lips was imbued with the essence of love he had lost, a celebration of life, even in the face of loss. He performed not just to win the approval of the judges or accolades. He sang for the love of his life, for moments that would never be replicated, and for the healing power of music itself. Winning the Golden Buzzer on America's Got Talent was a moment of transformational significance for Richard Goodall. The confetti rained down like a cascade of light, illuminating the entire stage, a symbol of hope, rebirth, and promise. But alongside the overwhelming joy of this recognition was the lingering bittersweet reality of his past. Every high note he sang echoed with the memories of his wife, each performance an emotional tribute to the love they shared and the heartache he endured following her passing. As Richard's story unfolded on screen, audiences connected with him not just as a performer, but as a symbol of human resilience. The raw emotion in his performances resonated deeply, touching countless hearts across the nation. Fans rallied around him, flooding social media with messages of support and admiration, as the small-town janitor, living quietly in Indiana, became a sonorous star, both figuratively and literally. Yet, even amid his rising stardom, Richard remained aware of the sacrifices he had made, weaving the memory of his wife into the fabric of his performances. The night of his performance to remember arrived. Richard had the chance to deliver a show-stopping rendition of Don't Stop Believin' in front of a star-studded panel of judges. With every chord, he brought forth the feeling of tenacity, of hope, not just for himself, but for everyone who had experienced profound loss. He had found a way to capture both despair and resilience in sound, creating a powerful and moving experience. This performance became more than just an audition. It became a collective journey that intertwined the audience's spirits with his, highlighting that grief, while isolating, can also unite communities through shared experience. Afterward, as Richard stood before the judges, their standing ovation resonated like a melody that lingered long after the last note had been sung. The euphoric rush of joy mingled with the shadows of his past. He took a moment to soak it all in, realizing that he stood before a crowd who appreciated not just his voice, but his authentic story. When Heidi Klum hit the golden buzzer, showering him in glittering confetti, time felt suspended. A moment when everything he had endured converged into a singular breath of relief triumph. However, the adrenaline of success is often accompanied by the glaring reminder of loss. Richard's journey was never solely about fame. It became a mission to celebrate the life he had lost and to honor the love that made him. For every performance, Richard promised himself that he would carry the memory of his wife into the spotlight, allowing their shared past to guide him into uncharted territory. With newfound fame came the inevitable desire to reach a broader audience, the opportunity to inspire others, especially those traversing their own grief journey. The community that once saw him as merely a janitor embraced him as a local hero, amplifying their support into a nationwide movement celebrating hope, resilience, and the importance of pursuing one's dreams despite despair. Reflecting on his journey, Richard Goodall's life epitomizes the delicate balance of love and loss, resilience and vulnerability. He stood as a dynamic reminder to all that extraordinary moments often arise from the unlikeliest places and are shaped by personal struggles. Richard's tale teaches us that healing is a non-linear process, imbued with both pain and beauty, which demands the courage to confront the battles we face, ultimately learning to embrace the world anew. To those navigating loss, Richard's journey holds invaluable lessons. He showcased the importance of connection, understanding that we are never truly alone in our grief. Friends, family, and supportive communities became his lifeline, demonstrating that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but an entryway to profound healing. By openly sharing his struggles, Richard connected with individuals across the globe, people who faced their own adversities, while reminding them that reaching out for support is a sign of strength. The narrative of his life weaves in the extraordinary power of music as a form of expression, unity, and catharsis. Richard transformed his heartaches into songs filled with authenticity and emotional resonance, underscoring the ability of music to heal, uplift, and inspire change. In reclaiming his passion, Richard demonstrated that dreams are worth pursuing, even in loss. Through a lens of reflection, we witness a metamorphosis within Richard. He evolved from a grieving husband to a national sensation, all while holding his wife's memory close to his heart. This trajectory of growth growth serves as a reminder that our past does not define our future. Rather, it acts as a stepping stone, leading us to new horizons. By embracing the pain, by dancing with the shadows, Richard carved out a new path filled with hope, purpose, and the promise of new beginnings. At the end of this remarkable journey, Richard Goodall leaves us with a profound truth. While grief is indeed a weighty mantle we carry, it does not eclipse the beauty of life or the possibility of joy. Instead, it sharpens our understanding of what it means to love profoundly, to lose deeply, and ultimately to rise again and again. The echoes of his lullabies resonate long after the spotlight fades, a testament that the journey continues, infused with the promises of healing, love, and the unwavering pursuit of dreams.
Here are 7 things you didn't know about Richard Goodall, ranked from the least interesting to the most fascinating. Get ready to have your mind blown. After Richard Goodall's TikTok went viral, he caught the attention of some big names in the music world. One of those big names was Steve Perry, a famous American singer and songwriter. When Steve Perry commented on Richard's TikTok saying, "I love this," it was a huge moment for Richard. To have someone he admired so much appreciate his voice meant the world to him. Richard responded to Steve Perry with gratitude, saying, "Love your music, sir. Thank you for commenting. This means so much to me. Thank you." You could tell from Richard's reply just how much he admired Steve Perry, but it didn't stop there. Richard received support from all over. The official Journey account on TikTok reposted Richard's TikTok to show their support. Even Howie Mandel, a famous comedian and judge on America's Got Talent, posted a video reacting to Richard's TikTok, writing at the bottom that Richard needs to be on AGT. At first, Richard couldn't believe it. He thought it might be fake accounts or videos. He didn't want to get too excited in case it wasn't real, but then he found out it was genuine, and it was a dream come true. After many years of people telling Richard Goodall that his voice was amazing and that he should audition for a singing competition, he finally decided to try out for The Voice. He had seen how much people loved his singing on social media, and he felt ready to take the next step. Richard sent in a video of himself singing "Don't Stop Believing" for the audition, hoping to make it onto the show, but then he got a disappointing email from The Voice. "Hello Richard, thank you so much for auditioning in our virtual open call. We have reviewed your performance of Don't Stop Believing. Unfortunately, you will not be moving on to the next round. Please keep working, and we hope to see you again next season." Richard was crushed. He couldn't believe they didn't want him on the show, but instead of giving up, he decided to try out for America's Got Talent, AGT. He shared his thoughts on Instagram, saying, "Just so everyone knows what I'm worthy of The Voice, but I'll try for AGT. But regular people just don't cut it in this world. Love you all for your support, Richard Goodall." The Voice had missed a big opportunity by not giving Richard a chance, but Richard didn't let this stop him. He was determined to show everyone his talent on AGT. His journey was far from over, and he was ready to prove that he could make his dreams come true. American Got Talent has announced they will be covering all of Richard Goodall's expenses for his journey to the competition. As you know, Mr. Goodall works as a janitor and doesn't make a lot of money, making it difficult for him to afford plane tickets, accommodations in California's expensive hotels, and other related costs. But here's where the story takes a heartwarming turn. Chris Burson, a fellow resident of Terre Haute, Indiana, took it upon himself to launch a GoFundMe campaign, raising a remarkable $15,000. His rallying cry was, "Let's give Terre Haute, Indiana's AGT Golden Buzzer winner, our support." Richard Goodall traveled to the first competition alone on his first ever flight. This August, he returns for 10 days to compete at the next level. Your generosity will allow him to have a worry-free experience financially. His travel and accommodations are covered, but his support group and other expenses are not. Let's ensure his family can accompany him and that he has whatever else he might need. The campaign, started on May 30th, 2024, has already hit its goal as of June 9th, with an overwhelming 382 people contributing to the cause. The outpouring of support from the community has been nothing short of extraordinary. This collective effort ensures that Richard Goodall, who touched hearts with his Golden Buzzer performance, can focus entirely on his next competition, backed by the love and support of his community. Richard often mentioned that he was alone in his room, singing with his radio stereo and lamenting that he didn't have a band. But that's not entirely true. Richard Goodall is actually part of a local band in Terre Haute, Indiana, called Menopause. Everything changed when a TikTok video of Richard singing Journey at a middle school went viral. Suddenly, Menopause started getting requests to perform at local bars. They accepted every offer, and by July, the band was fully booked. Richard exclaimed, "And just like that, we're booked every weekend in July. Thank you to the band for their awesome hard work and to our manager for securing the gigs. See you folks Saturday night at Archie's Sports Bar at 7:30. Don't miss a note. There's even talk that Richard might perform with Menopause in the finals of America's Got Talent. One of Richard's bandmates shared, "I wasn't surprised at all by the response. I knew this was coming. He deserved it. He's just so good, especially at singing Journey. He's the perfect Journey singer." Richard Goodall once sang alone in his room, dreaming of having a band. Now, with Menopause, he's a viral sensation. Richard Goodall had a chance to sing in front of a huge crowd in August 2022. He sang the song Don't Stop Believin' with Rudy Cardenas from American Idol. That night, Richard stood on stage like he had done it many times before. He looked very comfortable and confident. The song Don't Stop Believin' was just right for his strong voice. Rudy Cardenas, a singer from Venezuela who was on American Idol and sings in a rock band, saw a video of Richard singing Don't Stop Believin'. He was so impressed that he asked Richard to join him on stage, and before they started singing, Rudy introduced Richard to the crowd in a very exciting way.
I recently learned that there has been a TikTok phenomenon. Maybe you and half the country have seen it, but there is a singing janitor from right here in Terre Haute. And let me tell you, when I saw the video, I was like, there is no way that this is real. But let me tell you right now, it is real, and he's here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, dreams do come true. Let me introduce to you an amazing singer, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richard Goodall.
Together, Richard and Rudy created a magical moment with their singing. Richard's story of going from being a janitor to singing with a famous singer like Rudy shows how dreams can come true if you keep believing. After his performance, Richard posted a video on Instagram and he said, "An absolute awesome day. Thank you to the Drake family for setting this up, Jeff Gintart and Chelsea for being my brother from another mother and filming me, and the whole Mill staff, the awesome band and my Terre Haute friends in the audience. I hope more to come. Still enjoying the ride, y'all. Richard and Angie." Richard spoke lovingly about his fiancée, Angie, on America's Got Talent, but there's a part of his life he hasn't shared with the world. Richard had a previous wife, whose name remains private, but we have some pictures of her that tell a bittersweet story. Tragically, she passed away on June 19th, 2021, after battling cancer. On Instagram, Richard shared a heartbreaking message about his late wife. "I'm so sorry. I did my best, but my best wasn't good enough. Cancer is like getting punched in the gut, falling to the ground, then told to get back up and start all over." These words resonate deeply, showing the pain and struggle he endured. Their relationship spanned an incredible 30 years, filled with love and cherished moments. They were inseparable, celebrating every Christmas and Valentine's Day together. The photos of them during these occasions reveal a bond that was truly special, but life took an unexpected turn. Not long after his wife's passing, Richard found love again. On August 25th, he posted a new image on Instagram with his new love, Angie, captioning it, "Fun night with my lane at Taco Tequilas." It seems Richard has found happiness again, but the journey to this point was undoubtedly filled with heartache.